Let me share this with her. We are ready.
I don't need a 9 or knife, I walk with the passion of Christ. The Bible my sword, I wage war with the devil tonight. Yo dummy, allow it, why's my name in your mouth? I've been tempted to sell your spirit to an early demise. Isaiah 54 verse 17 all over my life. 1,000 fell at my left, 1,000 fell at my right. Enemies came in pairs, but they fled like mice for their life. When you walk with the Lord, you're so sanctified. And who are you to judge when you're still shackled to vices? My advice is grab scissors and cut out all of the lies. Truth is alive, alive every time I'm on the mic. Let me make one thing clear, I'm not scared of you guys. If it's war, just let me know. We got choppers different sizes, angels with swords molded to rip heads off pythons. I've been silent, quiet while you try to dim my light, but it's evident the energy you give off reflects your own life. Or the hate you display, it's obvious you need some love. I know you've been cheated on and used as a rag more than once. I know way too much, it's best you tame your tongue. Why you attacking me? You should attack what made you bleed. The man that brought you to your knees and stole your self-esteem. You was told what you was told and ran with it like a thief. But there's two sides to a story, study both before you speak. And if it's none of your business, why the f do you speak? I ain't got time, I've been productive, undergoing a routine. Stabilizing our teens, cause they're the future of our scene. Love and frequencies, my new EP's dropping 2020. I got a vision, you see, I can't react to silly distractions, I don't blame you. Or your empty temple. The devil finds work for people whose lives are idle. You used to be a disciple, now you wanna play rival. It hurt me like when Sonny put a hole in Driss's temple. I had no choice. You tried to blind my voice and manipulate their minds with your trivial noise. You're toxic and everyone sees it. The more you unwrap the foil, a heart made of gold, blessed with the skins of royal. I underfound you embraced me, asked me how I was doing. Then you text my ex saying trash bags in the building. Who's fake? Lucky I didn't come through and put the whole clique on a plate. Love and free. Yo.
Hello.
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 Long time no see. How you doing?
Behind your criticism of fits in the poltergeist, man, a killer rapper. Welcome back to the city where fucking
Hold
get
up.
lost. When I hit murder charge, my shots when they charge spark on the
Hold up. Sorry, what did you say?
I said you was going old school. That tune is old, isn't it? The one which you was just playing with Cameron Uzuka. One of my old.
I played Armageddon. No, it's because I'm on your Spotify. So,
Blessings.
yeah, so I'm just like looking. My God, it's been a long time, Boy Nash.
Yeah, I know it's been ages. What, like 5, 6, probably?
It's not been that long. Since you last saw me, I think the last time I saw you perform was when it was in Croydon, at Box Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember.
It's, you know what it is? It's because I took a break for a little while. So
yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Good to have you back, man. Good to have you back.
And it's been like a long time. So I appreciate you for coming and taking your time out so we can do this interview, because I've been seeing you work, man. I've been seeing you work and stuff. I saw you you're performing on the Black Lives Matter what was it called? It was like a day event.
Black Lives Matter. Oh, with Lock EMG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that as well. Yeah, that was lit.
Yeah. So, and you're always requested for performing and stuff like that. So I see you work. I see you work, and your like your projects have been dropping and stuff as well. Yeah. So, and I see you work with Tubby Boy as well. I haven't spoken to Tubby in ages either.
Yeah,
so,
big up Tubby, man. Big up Tubby. Tubby's working as well. His work rate is crazy, man. Tubby's work rate is like he's a madman.
So how have you been like coping with COVID and stuff, like with the lockdown?
Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. I've had a great time with the
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, I feel like the world has always been on this running. Gotta be here, gotta go there, gotta do this. And for me, it's just giving me time to kind of think, kind of strategize, and also just have time for myself, man.
Yeah, I can
A lot of
imagine.
you know what I mean? A lot of the time we're just running around here and there in this capitalist system, man, just here, then you know what I mean? Up and down. So for me, I think it's been a good time for me just to sit back and just like analyze things, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, London is like that anyway. London is like a fast lane, fast paced city. So it kind of like it is like, you know, it is one I miss I didn't like that because like I'm always in the office at work or something like that. I was just I can't cope with it. I need to get out and stuff. And the fact that like I'm back in the music industry as well. I miss like
Yeah.
seeing artists perform and stuff. So it's a
Mm,
bit different when you see it online to when you see it in person because you really feel the music and the bass and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
I think yeah. So I've done my a little bit of research with stuff that you've been up to and stuff and things like that.
Oh,
I know you've
bless
just
you.
dropped I know you've just got Armageddon on the 26th. So one thing I've noticed with you in your artistry is the fact that your music always seems to deliver messages.
Yeah, yeah, that's me, man. I'm a
Yeah.
little preacher, man.
Say what?
I said I'm a little preacher, man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've known since I've known you, you've always that's always been your music and stuff. So
Mm,
I remember when you were performing at UK Unsigned Hype and you did that track for me. I was like, yeah,
yeah.
like party on. So it's just I've seen your work ethics and your growth as well, which is amazing as well. So
Mm.
I'm very happy to when you said that you had some time to be able to be interviewed and stuff. So I really appreciate that.
No, no
Um, I
worries,
will
man.
I will upload this onto my YouTube as well. Um,
Perfect.
so yeah, so hopefully the network don't go funny. so,
Yeah, yeah,
so okay. So as I was saying about is like your flow, your lyrics was what got me intrigued with you when I first met you, and I've
mm,
seen you you're always on the music scene. I know you know a lot of artists in the UK, especially London, because it's like a community here. But let's talk about Armageddon first of all before we go into the interview questions.
okay.
So 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 with for people that don't know, where can we find Armageddon?
You can find it on all digital streaming platforms, and there's a little freestyle video on We Are Lunar Legacy's YouTube channel, so you can kind of check out there. Um,
Cool.
mm.
And so with the track Armageddon, what was the inspiration behind it? What made you do that track? Because and there is some lyrical content in there that really delivers. So
Yeah.
what was when you wrote that track, what was the inspiration behind it?
If I'm being honest, the inspiration behind it was anger, man. So Armageddon's every time I drop an Armageddon, it's just serious because I've got Armageddon 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth edition of Armageddon. And
Yeah.
Armageddon is just raw lyrics, just bars, lyrics, and I just kind of get to say what I really want to say without caring too much about the conscious element of me. So it's just more of a barring, going toe to toe, metaphors in
Mm,
internal rhyming schemes. But that track actually came out from an incident that happened. So there was an incident that I went through, a personal incident, and that was the inspiration behind that record. And I think it's very important that we are able to put our anger or anything that we feel or any emotion that we can express on a piece of paper than just acting wild or acting crazy. So that's exactly what I did with Armageddon. Obviously,
mm,
there's no malice or there's no hate in my heart for anybody
um,
at this present moment because this situation happened somewhere last year, like ages ago. But I wrote it down and I planned to release it at some point. And obviously, with the whole lockdown and stuff, that was one of the tracks that I had sitting there. And Armageddon is
mm,
it's like a warm up. So it's like a gearing up for a main event. And even when you look at the word Armageddon, I felt like we was all in a state of Armageddon in terms of we was all in a
yeah.
state of war. We was all in survival mode during this COVID period. So I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, as much as the song is detailed about me, it's also to do with like, do you know, even with the opening bars, I don't need a nine or knife. I walk with the passion of Christ. Like, you're trying to tell, it's a spiritual record where you're telling people I'm not afraid. Like, yo, whatever the situation is, I'm strong and I can move through this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the inspiration behind Armageddon 5.
That's strong. Because I remember you releasing Armageddon like years ago and
Yeah.
stuff. So, like, because I was just like, is this like, and then I went and listened to it and I was like, no, the lyrics are different.
Mm,
And then, so that's the reason why I wanted you to explain the reason behind the word Armageddon, why you name the track that, because it's basically like a kind of like a follow on from, not a follow on, it's to do with episodes that happen in your life that that
yes.
that you could be delivering, another message. And you're right, like, I think it's important for artists to express. I think the best music comes from emotional music as such.
Always.
You don't, it just comes out and you just have this flow. And
Mm,
I think that's just amazing. So make sure you guys go check out Armageddon
yeah.
on all music platforms.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into some questions now.
Okay.
Um,
Let's go for it.
I come prepared. I come
Yeah, yeah.
prepared.
Big up, Mills.
You got your fans from Dubai. Wow, that's
Oh, big
hard.
up.
Okay. So I know we spoke about Armageddon and what was the meaning behind it and how you wrote it. So when you're writing and crafting your music, um, what's your influence the most? So what influences you the most to put that pen to paper? So you said about Armageddon being something that you're angry about, but
Yeah.
you do your lyrical content in your other music is always about, I from my point of view and my opinion, I always get a message out of it.
Mm,
So
mm.
like tell the people about your influences and what makes you sit there. Like, are you driving one day and you just be like, this music's coming to my head, these lyrics will come into my head?
Do you know what? That's a good question. Like with music and with writing and with lyrics, it's always been something that's been a part of me. I couldn't even tell you when I wasn't writing lyrics. From when I was a teenager to up to
Mm,
now, I've just always had this passion for lyricism. I've always had this passion for writing. I've always had this passion for performing. Like for years, man. I like, and I think for me, one of the most important things is always something that stuck with me is the consciousness, the meaning, the positivity behind the lyrics, because I've always wanted to be a positive balance in the rap
yeah,
world. And I'm not saying that the rap world is full of negativity. I'm not saying that rap, I'm saying everyone should express themselves how they want to express themselves. But I want
yeah,
that person who is not a gangbanger, that person who's just a normal youth, who just goes about his business, probably works a 9 to 5, does what he wants. I want him to be able to rap. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm kind of pushing the boundaries in my sense where I will constantly talk about positive stuff. I will constantly
mm,
inspire people and I'll constantly have a message in my music because that's
mm,
what influences me. And obviously, I've been heavily influenced growing up in a Christian household as well. I'm not Christian myself. I just want to put that out there because a lot of people think I'm Christian just based off that track. But I'm not Christian. I do believe in the scriptures, but I believe it's interpreted in a different way. But I grew up in a Christian household, and me growing up in this Christian household has also had an influence on me. And I think I've always just been a deep thinker and always just looked at things different and
yeah,
having understanding of how the mind works, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind. I've always known that lyrics and what you put out there is important. There have been times in my life where I've been influenced to put certain lyrics in my track, but every time I've made a song that doesn't have a message or it's just a song just talking whatever, just not having any thought behind it, deep down in my spirit I've been worried and it just hasn't sat right with me. Like I remember, like was it 2018, I spent over about £1,000 on shooting a music video. I paid dancers, I paid for a venue, and people at that time were telling me, Nash, you know what, you need to do this type of music, man. You need to get stuff in the club. You need to get stuff in the club. Even today, my brethren called me from Germany. He's like, yo, you need to do something for the clubs. I know you got this conscious tip. But upon finishing that record and shooting the music video and spending all that money, I never released it because it just didn't sit right in my heart.
and my intuition and my spirit just didn't ride with it. So I've realized, do you know what? Who I am is just, this is just what I deliver. It has to have a message, something positive. I don't want to
Yeah.
play my music to someone and feel embarrassed of
No,
what I'm
no,
talking about. And
definitely.
that's just me. So
Yeah.
that's my
I'm glad you did,
influences.
you made that decision because because it kind of like when you change up on your music, like I get like certain people have to like adapt to different genres and stuff like that, but I believe that you're a strong artist in your content and you influencing the younger generation especially. So I think you made the right decision there because it's like, you know, that's not you, you know, like from when I've known you from years ago, I just don't feel, I feel like all your music always needs that kind of like, no pressure, but it always needs that, it needs that like message delivered, and I think you're very conscious about what you do put into your tracks, and you can tell that.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's good.
thank you.
So you said you started writing from a young age.
Mm.
Do you remember like the first kind of like lyrics that you wrote down? Like what age were you and where were
I was,
you?
I was 14 or 13, and yeah, I was 14 or 13, and I used to write in my maths book. Again, I think, again, rap just chose me. I think I grew up around Mitcham Eastfield's estate, innit? So to hang around with the boys at Mitcham Eastfield, I was never really, I mean, I did some things in the past, you know what I mean? As growing up as a young boy in the
Mm,
area and everyone's up to their mischief and doing whatever they're doing, there was a few things that I partook in it. But really and truly, the reason I was accepted into this gang or accepted into the crew at that particular time was because I could rap good. Do you get what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I wanted to prove a point to them, and we used to do sets and all of this jazz. So my first bars I remember was something like, "I'm cold like frostbite. Me and my crew come cold like frostbite. Come like a gun. I'll bun you in one." Something like
Damn.
that. Some crazy, hood road, like just vicious
Hmm.
bars. I was young in it, and that's how I got. That's how I kind of found my
I
way
won't
back.
I won't intrude and ask you how many years ago that was because I don't actually know
No,
how
that's
old
15
you
years ago. So yeah, that was 15.
are.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
15 years ago. Yeah, man. So I'm
I
30
didn't know
now.
you were around the
Yeah,
same age as me.
yeah, I'm 30 now. Yeah, so I've grown. I've grown, man. Like, to be fair, I've grown. And I think that was another thing looking at when people even used to question me about age, and there was a part of me that used to feel like, oh yeah, there was a lot of that pressure, like you gotta make it by this age, or you gotta be here. And I remember going through that pressure. And I remember if this was a couple of years ago, I never would have said this on a live interview. I wouldn't have. But now I'm at a point where I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable in what I do. I'm comfortable in who I am. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like, and there's
And
nothing
that
wrong with that.
no, there's not. And that comes with you realize that as you get older, but it needs to be realized as you're younger, you know, like it needs to be younger, the younger generation needs to realize it's okay. Like you can be who you want to be because it's a part of the growth process. You'll go through trials and errors and stuff like that.
Mm,
So, and then you'll become, but like, it's just a shame that it gets so long down in your life before, because I'm comfortable with myself, you know, but it took me a long time to get there. So I completely appreciate where you're coming from there
yeah.
as well. So, um, in the years that you've actually been an artist, what what's the three things that you've learned the most?
Um, what are the three things I've learned the most? I've learned that it doesn't, just because you're the best rapper doesn't mean that you're gonna make it. I mean, growing up when I was young, I always thought you had to be the best rapper to make it. But now I've realized that you don't have to be the best rapper to make it. There's a lot more that comes with the artistry, in terms of the music. It's not just about having a great record out there. It's not just about being the best singer. I've learned that you need to have a brand. You need to be strategic. You need to have a network of people around you. Because if you want to make it in this music business and this music industry, it's not based. I mean, have a good record. That I'm not saying just make any sort of trash. But what I've learned is it takes more than that. Because I remember grafting in the studio when I was coming up, wanted to be the best rapper. And I think I achieved lyricism to a level that some of my peers have not achieved to that level of lyricism. And that's not knocking, but that's just me speaking my truth and how I feel about my artistry in terms of lyric writing, not songwriting, but lyrics and putting a verse together and metaphors and similes and understanding internal rhyme schemes, assonance, all of these literary devices that go into making a sick lyric, a sick verse. I think I mastered that. But now I'm at a point where I'm mastering the branding and I'm starting to understand, right, it's not just about that, you know. You need
Yeah.
connections, especially in this industry. I think off the top of my head, one other thing I've learned as well is it's your belief system. You have to have a strong belief system. And I think for myself, the older I got, there was always that teeny bit of doubt that was just sticking out for me, of not doubt in terms of my music being great, but doubt of somebody picking me up or somebody saying, do you know what I mean? That was one
Mm.
thing I learned. So I wouldn't tell people, please remove any form of doubt, because when you have doubt in you, your manifestation process is just slowed down. And what was the
And does
last
that,
thing? Go on, sorry.
sorry, does that affect your writing process as well? Does that affect when you manifest? Do you find that affects your ability to put something together? Does it procrastinate as such?
I think it affects, but it's unconscious. It affects you unconsciously, because how I look at it is any form of doubt stops your miracle from happening. Any form of
Mm.
doubt, like any form of doubt that you have in your body at that particular moment can slow your manifestation process. Do you get what I'm saying? It's that saying which they say, one bad nut spoils the soup. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just one bad ingredient and the whole dish is mash up. Do you know what I mean? So I learned that. And one thing I would say as well, which I've learned, is stop waiting for labels, man. I think I spent a lot of my time thinking somebody would save me. Like, oh, there's going to be this label that's going to come and I'm the best rapper, so they're going to sweep me off my feet. And then, yeah, they're going to run with it. But now I've taken things into my own hands. I have my own label. I've made my own lane. I'm forming my own tribe. So
Yeah.
somebody does come to help me, then they're in partnership with me. And I've learned
Yeah.
something about ownership. Ownership is important. If you're an independent artist and you're coming up and you're young and you want to please own everything. Pay for your studio time, pay for the beats. Make sure you own your masters, because that could feed you in the long run. A lot of us, we didn't own our masters because maybe we compromised free studio time over here. And then, or maybe we didn't buy out the beat. So the engineer owns half, so the producer owns half of the masters because they own the beat. Like all these little things that I was not focused on, because I was so focused on being the best rapper. I let these things slide. And I
Yeah.
kind of learned from that, to be fair.
That's good. I was going to ask you about what would you tell up and coming artists, but it sounds like you just answered that question because there's
Um,
a lot of.
no, I could go on. Like, there's so many things. That's just even a little bit of what I could tell up and coming. And I know I talk a lot, man. When I get into the flow, I
Mhm.
just.
No, I know. Yeah,
But
that's like me. I'm
up and coming
like,
artists, man. Define your audience. Find your audience. Make the best music you can, and don't stop, man. The market is very saturated right now. There's a lot of artists, so I think
mm,
the most important thing is definitely picking out what type of music you want to make. Find out where your audience is important to know. So for me, a lot of them is like, even though I've always stayed conscious, sometimes I might think, yeah, I want to dabble here and do this and do that. But I need to solidify my audience. I need to solidify who I'm talking to. And I've made up my mind. I'm talking to conscious people. I'm talking to people that are woke. I'm talking to people that want a message. So when people come to me and say, oh, make a club record, make it, I know my direction. I know where I'm going. And also your why. Your why should be very important. Up and coming artists, your why. Why do you make music? Because,
yeah,
bruh, a lot of artists fall off, a lot of artists stop, and it's not their fault. It could be life situations, but your why has to be important. My why is, for me, as I told you, I believe in the spirits, I believe in the Most High. I follow the scriptures to some degree, not even to some degree, I follow the scriptures in its entirety, and I try to.
mm,
So for me, my thing is for the Most High. Like the music I make, it's for him, in it. That's my
mm,
belief system, and that's what keeps me going, because I believe once you're given a gift, you have to use your gift. Do you get what I'm saying? Otherwise it will be taken away from you, and I have honed this gift, so why not use it? So for
you
me,
definitely.
I'm in it.
I feel like your gift is definitely is music, and it's also literally preaching and delivering messages through your music, because music is the most listened to, um like people listen to the message and it really gets into their soul.
Mm,
So it is like that. I find that for myself is I listen to when I'm in certain moods, I listen to certain tracks, you know, and you are actually one of those people on my playlist. So,
Oh, blessing, blessing. Thank you so
so
much.
yeah, so when I feel like I need a message, I need that uplifting or something like that, and then I'll turn to music for that.
Mm,
Um, so got a question for you.
yeah,
If you could bring back an artist from the dead, who would it be and why?
that's so crazy, man. Boy, off the top of my head, you know, cliche. I'm just, oh man. When it comes to music, I know I don't. I'm not that learned, you know, but I would say if I was to bring back an artist from the dead, off the top of my head, right now, it would have to be Tupac, man. It would have to be Tupac. It would have to be Tupac because Tupac spoke. He spoke the truth. He had a message.
Mm,
He inspired. He had power. Do you know what I mean? I can imagine Tupac being alive during these times. It would be crazy. Do you know what I mean? You
yeah,
need more artists
definitely.
like Tupac, and he was very revered and respected. So for me, it's like once he's revered and respected, and that like people will take heed to what he has to say. You know?
Mm,
Yeah, definitely.
exactly.
Mhm.
Every time I ask that question for an artist, they're like, "Oh, like it's such a damn hard question." Um, so what's your taste in style when it comes to fashion?
Boy,
Not to do music, just fashion. So if you had to do a music video or you just like attending events and stuff like that, what's your taste in style?
right now my whole thing is bun fashion, you know, like not gonna lie, like ever since the COVID hit and this whole Black Lives Matter campaign started, I took off all my watches, I took off all my rings, I took off all my chains. I don't wear them stuff no more. As you can see, I'm in a plain hoodie, plain tracksuit, plain white tee, and this scarf is something that I like. I got it made by a woman called Intatsu, and she just made. I just saw it and I said, I want something like this. One of my favorite
Mm.
artists, Jay Electronica, had something like this, and he wore it, and I thought, this is sick. I want one, and I got a
Hmm.
white one custom made for me. So
Oh,
when it comes
wow.
to fashion, I think whatever floats my boat is what things that I like. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Mm.
like these kind of hats as well. But right now the fashion is just plain. It's plain fashion, man. Plain white tee, plain tracksuits. The only thing I'd spend money on is probably my trainers. But I like
Yeah,
colorful stuff as well, and just plain white tees and stuff. So, I mean, that's what I
yeah,
would go for if I'm shooting a music video. If I'm being honest in this present moment.
cool. Um, what was the first album you bought and what made you buy it? And do you remember your thought process at the time?
Oh, this is crazy. So, like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, oh, do I even admit it? Okay, let's be honest, man. So when I was 40, I was like, when I was, is it 15? For 15, 16, I spent some time in Ghana. So I went back to Ghana for a bit. And during
Yeah,
that period when I was in Ghana, music was hard to come by. There weren't that many like new like songs and stuff out there. I don't know why. And I went to this shop and I don't know whether they illegally burned it or they had the song that they had their album there. But the first album that I bought was Usher, you know. I know that sounds so crazy, Usher Confessions, or the album that had Confessions on it. And that was the first album I bought, and I cannot remember why I bought it. Because when it came to albums in Ghana, unfortunately, because there was not really that many original albums. You had these people who were just sick with a computer and they would just bootleg it. So you just kind of
yeah.
copy it off them in it because you couldn't
Like
buy it out of
like
Africa.
LimeWire. Do you
Yeah,
remember LimeWire?
LimeWire. Yeah, you know.
Oh my
Yo.
God. I used to get like on LimeWire, I used to get like different versions of things. Like it would be like some Tupac song or something like that. Like it was mixed up with some other song and stuff. It was like
Wow.
crazy back then. It used to be hard and I used to put a lot of viruses on my computer. But yeah, LimeWire
Yeah.
was the one back then. I don't even know if it's still around.
They probably
So,
bugged it. Yeah, I don't know. I remember I used to upload tracks to LimeWire. Low. That's
oh
so funny.
really?
Yeah, years ago when I was back in Ghana making music, I used to upload stuff to LimeWire. That's hilarious.
But it's popular back then. So
Mm.
I remember years ago, oh my God, it was when I was about 14, 15. I remember like going on to, like, there's this new track. I don't want to buy it from HMV or Virgin or something. I just go download off my LimeWire. Oh my God. Um, okay, so what's the best advice you've ever been given from like another artist or another like person that's quite influential to you?
I sat down with so in 2016, I had a chance that I interviewed GRM Daly hooked up this thing for me to interview Wretch 32, and I sat down with Wretch 32, and at that point, like, my favorite artists have always been J Electronica, and one of them has been Wretch 32, just based off lyricism, man. I studied these artists, I broke down what they did. They were very influential, and it's mad, like, how I've been, like, not to divert off the question, but I've been on stage with J Electronica, and I've had conversations with Wretch, and Wretch is cool. We still have conversations now and then. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, who like my stuff, I like his stuff. We'll support each other, and it's crazy. Like, and when I sat down with him at the interview, he said something that stuck with me, man. And he said, "What did he say? He said this thing. He said, don't change, just be yourself." Those simple words, man. He said, "What's the point of changing? Just be yourself, man, and be
Look
creative."
where you are today. You're passing on that kind of like that
Yeah,
information and that growth.
that
So
was it.
yeah.
That was it. He said, "Be yourself." He said, "Don't change. Just be you, man. Be you.
Mm,
Be creative with it." Do you know what I mean? And that was something that stuck with me when he
yeah.
spoke, because I was like, "Yeah, right, okay. That is, it's that simple. Just be yourself, man." You know, and that interview's out as well on YouTube. If anyone wants to watch it, just type Boy Nash and Rich 32. It should come up on GRM Daily.
Oh, is it in GRM, is it?
Yeah, it was on GRM,
Mm.
so it was like about a 30-minute interview. I got to ask him questions, and those were one of the things he said to me, man. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, I have to check that out. So
Mm,
make sure you go check that out, guys.
please.
Um, so I'm gonna do some general knowledge questions.
All right, I'm cracked.
I've only got two.
Okay,
Um,
don't worry. Yeah, I'll try.
how many states are there in the USA?
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to know that, Mims? I haven't even been to the USA before. I'm going to take a wild guess here, and I'm going to say 50.
It was 50. Now it's 52.
Oh, really? How did it become 52?
Puerto Rico and another place, which has become the 52nd state.
Oh,
I actually
wow.
found that out the other day, so I was like, oh, let me just do this now, general knowledge.
Wild
And I'm
guess.
hoping you get this because you're from this side of the country, this side of the world.
Okay.
What is the capital of Italy?
Rome.
Yay!
Whoa,
Trust
Lord.
me.
You know what? When you paused, yeah, I thought I got it wrong, you know. I was like, whoa, no, don't embarrass yourself, Nash.
Oh, it's the effects. It's the effects.
No, big ups.
So, what's coming up next for Boy Nash?
The best music that I've ever made, man. I made this project called Love and Frequencies. It's about love and different types of, well, not different types of love, but different stages of love. So you got lust, you got like real love, you got like different frequencies that you always alternate on. And that's my next project, Love and Frequencies. It's got features from T Harmony, who just joined. Big up T Harmony, he's on there. That's going to be one of the first singles that I release. It's called Complicated. It's sick. I've got Chrissy Day on there. Big up Chrissy Day, my girlfriend. She's gonna be on there singing on two tracks. And it's produced. We've got productions from Mantis. We've got productions from Ninxie, and it's all mastered by Ninxie. And it's my, like, Mims, when I tell you it's my best project of work since, yeah, listen, it is my best project. Like, I've got all live instruments in there, like crazy.
Wow, you know we love a live instrument. We love a guitar. Love a trumpet. We love a keys, and
Yeah.
you know that's the energy that was brought to the UK and Sign Hype. So
Yeah.
you know.
It's amazing.
So when's that gonna drop?
So I've just dropped Armageddon 5. I'm letting that marinate. Everyone should know. If you don't know, I'm an independent artist, so managing everything myself sometimes is a bit all over the place, especially when I'm juggling other bits and bobs that I'm doing. I'm in the process of planning out the promotion, how I'm going to promote it, and then my plan is to drop 2 singles. And after the 2 singles, the whole project is going to drop. So I need to plan how I'm going to distribute these singles out. After these 2 singles land, then the project should drop. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping for January or December. One of these two, January or December. But the singles will come before then. But I'm
Yeah, yeah.
hoping, yeah, the singles are going to come. I just got to plan it out how I'm going to release the singles and get it out to the masses and get it out to the people, because I really want to put a budget behind it. Because, you know, like as an independent artist, like I've been working with no budget for years now, man. But with this actual project, I want to put a little budget behind it and really give it that push, because the music is beautiful, man. Like, it's beautiful music. So yeah, that's what's coming out.
So, can we get a sneak peek of it, or?
Yeah, what have I got? Let me see if I can give you a little sneak peek of what. Let me see if I've got something here. I'm gonna give just a little verse. What have we got? Should I give you? You know, I'll give you. Yeah, yeah, Bonnet does it complicated.
Just really
Oh, I
kind of
love
dropped it out there, you know?
what do you say? Do you know, I'll give you this. I'll give you this one, man. This is a little nice little chance. See what, yeah. I've given this one up. People have heard this. I did a little listening session as well.
Oh. Make sure next listening session, make sure you plug me in, yeah?
Yeah, I will, definitely. We need to work anyway, man. Even with the whole, I need to hit you and we need to get this conversation going about what we can do. So I'm gonna play it now, so if you can hear it, hopefully.
Don't walk away, don't walk away. Baby, give me one more chance. Don't walk away, don't walk away. Baby, give me one more chance. I got issues from my past that haunt me. I got demons on my back that taunt me. I got thirsty groupies that want me. I got a girl who I love, and that's facts, G. Play the game, that's what these olders told me. But the more I keep on playing, I feel lonely. 6,000 followers, but you don't know me. I keep it all in my mind, cause they knows you. Don't walk away, don't walk away. I'll give you the chorus as well.
Is that your girlfriend?
No, this is a girl called Lanabi. Yeah, so that's Chance, that's on the project. Hopefully I think that's like the third or fourth track. It's a beautiful radio record, to be fair. It wasn't made for radio, but it had a radio sort of
I already know that's gonna be deep. I already know. I can't wait. Make sure plug me in. As soon as you get the tracks and stuff, you got you, like with promotion and stuff like that. You know I've got it. So just let me know and stuff. You're getting requests now.
Yeah, they want more.
Little teasers, huh? So where can people find you on your platforms and also social medias?
www.boynash.com. Check out my website. Please check out my website. I just launched it about a month ago. Everything's on there, all the information about who I am, my music, my videos. If you want to find me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Boy Nash, TikTok, Boy Nash. So BOYNASH. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining. I will get this uploaded onto Instagram and also my YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon with another interview once your project drops.
Definitely.
And get some more in. So thank you so much. Everybody go and follow Boy Nash. It's pinned in my comments as well.
Yeah.
And thank you again, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration for a lot. Okay.
Thank you. Blessings, sis.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Boy Nash, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to sign off now. Make sure you go over to my Facebook, as it's going to be Chit Chat Chat Show at 10 o'clock my time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Central time. And we'll get this uploaded, and thank you again.